All right, we are live with another relaxed retro talk. This time we're doing it actually live. We are live on Twitch. We've never done
Hello.
this before. It was hellacious because I am cursed when it comes to computers. I literally had the exact same settings Mike did, and it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work on
Yeah.
mine. But we got it going now. So cross your fingers and your butt hairs, and we should be okay.
Yeah, we
Um,
don't want we don't want this to crash and burn at this point.
no
So
shit. It took a while. It took
send
like
your
almost a full
positive.
hour, dude, to get this
We,
going.
we need positive energy.
But
Lots of positive
give me
energy.
all your energy. Um but anyways, today's topic is console launches.
Yes.
Should you buy consoles at launch? Which consoles had good launches? Which consoles had bad launches? Which games came out? Were they good? Were they bad? Kind of all that stuff. That's kind of the topic here. We will take chat into consideration, but I do have all alerts turned off. So if anyone does subscribe or follow or chat, you won't show up on my screen. I will check that shit later. I can see chat though. I can see chat. So we'll go from there. But anyways, let's start off. The Xbox. What is the fucking new Xbox called? Xbox Series
Okay.
X.
There's two.
Okay.
There's the Series X, which takes games, and the Series S, which is digital only.
Why? Why does the
I know
Xbox
this
have
is the
such
worst.
bad names,
I
dude?
gotta say. Okay, so Xbox, good. Xbox 360, okay,
Yeah, that's
fair enough.
fine. Even Xbox One it's stupid.
That's where it all went wrong.
It's stupid, but at least you know what it is. Because then didn't they come out
Yeah.
with Series One X?
Well, that's just it. Then you had the Xbox One Series X. Like it's getting bananas.
It's dumb
time.
as shit.
Look, Microsoft. It's time to shut it down.
Yeah.
Shut it down. You can keep the word Xbox. That's fine, but just be normal. Xbox 360. Then maybe from Xbox 360 they could have been like, okay, you know what, guys, we're going to Xbox One
Or Xbox
because we just want to
720.
normalize. No. But then they're like, we're going to Xbox One. We're going to normalize this, and they're like, okay, great, that's awesome, great news. And then the new one should have been Xbox Two. Right?
At the
And
very
then
least. At the very least.
forward. Or you know what? Use a letter thing. Anything.
Yeah.
But Xbox Series X, worst thing ever.
That
Okay,
is- it
rant
is the
over.
worst
We're gonna
name.
box that.
It's the worst name
temporarily.
ever. It's the only name worse than the Wii U. It's literally the only name worse
Yeah,
than the
I
Wii U.
gotta say, and then, you know what? Even the Wii U, that still was okay in my books.
Yeah?
At least it was different enough. It wasn't the Wii. It was the next step. So they could have called it the Wii 2, but they
They
went with
should
Wii
have
U.
called it Wii 2. Because a lot of kids and stuff, or a lot of parents, didn't
Yeah.
have a fucking clue what they were getting their kid for
Absolutely.
Christmas that
So,
year.
PlayStation has it right. PS5, good.
Yeah.
Next one, guess what? The next one's gonna be called PS6.
Yeah, it is. What if it
Just, like, I
isn't?
mean, it's as simple.
I can't
they're
wait.
like,
I can't
"We're gonna
wait
Call this.
for the Xbox Xbox One Triple X World Series X. That's what I'm waiting for. That's gonna be the next one.
Watch the PlayStation's like, you know what, guys? We're gonna call this one the PlayStation 5 Series S1 to version 5.
Yeah, F-150.
What? No,
Stupid.
No,
Man.
you did
It's
it
so
wrong.
dumb. But anyways, let's
Yeah,
let's
fix your naming. Fix your naming.
let's start. So we both have this open. It's all the major, well, even non-major, but we should probably just stick to the major ones. All the major consoles releases with the
Yes.
games that came out at launch, kind of thing, basically.
Here's the thing, okay? So let's just set the table here. From a point of view of a launch console, I personally believe there is no benefit of buying a launch console anymore. At one point in the game, you would buy the launch console to be one of the first people having it, and I mean, and at a certain point, if that's still your case, then so be it. But for me, I know they're going to release a bundle console in 6 months,
Absolutely.
and they're going to drop the price of that console in a year. So to me, there's no benefit, especially being, and we're going to go through the games here, but especially being that typically the launch consoles are also released on the previous console as well.
Oh yeah. So that's
Right?
one thing. There's been a lot of things on this podcast that Mike and I disagree, like have to kind of not disagree, but we have different angles, like don't
Yeah.
fully see it that way. But that's why we love doing this, because I like to hear his side and he likes to hear mine, because we have different views usually. But this is one thing we are 100% the same. Like, why would you spend $600 on a console that has that you just play your PS4 games on, for example.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's for like half a year or more sometimes.
You can sit there and say, well, the graphics are better on the PS5. No, they're not. No, they're not.
It runs at 120 frames per second.
Look, here's the thing, okay? You can say that all day long. You take the existing console that you have, okay? Take your PS4. Take your Xbox One, whatever it was that you had. Play a launch game. And then play that same game on the system before, and I'll guarantee you won't notice a difference.
You're not going to notice much, if anything.
It's not. The difference in those games comes later on down the console's life. And to be perfectly honest, we're at a point now where the consoles are essentially computers anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, they stay in line with the computers.
Yeah.
When the game's released on PC and they upgrade it on PC, that's when you get it on the console too.
Mm-hmm. And as we'll find, because I know there's one console, maybe two, that did have really good launches and really good launch titles, but out of how many fucking consoles? Like,
well, we have to go way back. You have to go back in time. You have to go way back down the line, because at a certain point there was this kind of convergence of the lines where the PC gaming and console gaming kind of converged, and they became the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
that would have been around the PS3 era, hey? I think
PS3, Xbox 360. Yeah. Around that time frame, that's when the timelines kind of merged. But up to that point, you know, you would play PS2, you would play Xbox, you would play Super Nintendo, you play whatever, and that was specific to that console. You wouldn't be able to do it on your computer. But now it's all the same.
Yeah, and I think as much as maybe I don't know who was all shitting on them, but I was definitely shitting on Microsoft for doing the whole like they were doing like Windows Live, like Xbox Live on Windows, and if you think about it, that was kind of what brought PC into the console race. Really, that's when that kind of started, where PC was always on par with console from that point on.
See, now I would say back in the day, you had PC gaming, which was its own track.
Separate,
you had console gaming, that was
different.
Own track. And then when they started merging, to be honest with you, PC games kind of took a bit of a hit, because they ended up having to abide by the rules of the console, which, you know, you think about a game like Battlefield.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of that. Yeah, you're basically playing a console game on PC instead of a PC game that's decked out.
It didn't go the other
PC.
way, because exactly, the console couldn't support the reach that the PC had, right?
Right.
So you had a game like Battlefield 1942 where you have 128 people in a lobby, and then you bring Battlefield in from the console, which was like, I think, maxed out at 32 people at the time. So then what a PC happened was they reduced their player size in the lobbies to match with the consoles.
Yeah, I never
thought
of that.
But now we're and so that was kind of the awkward teenager years of the gaming. Because then now we're back at a point where now the consoles just do what the PCs do. It's the same thing.
But let's go through some of these here. So starting with the Atari 2600. Now I don't want to touch on like fucking everything. Like, it has the Fairchild Channel F. What the fuck is that? I don't know. Someone in YouTube is gonna downvote this video and be like, the Fairchild Channel F was the greatest console of all time. It had Video Kart 1 Tic Tac Toe.
Shooting gallery doodle and quadradoodle.
So
don't make fun of quadradoodle.
Quadradoodle was Game of the Year in 1976. But yeah, so the Atari 2600 launched in the United States September 11th, 1977. It had Air Sea Battle, Basic Math, Game of the Year already, Blackjack, Combat, Indy 500, Starship, Street Racer, Surround, and Video Olympics. Not a single classic in there.
No, but I mean, at this point, can you really call those, like, I know they're literally launch titles, right? I know that they're literally the games that are available when the console's out. But I mean, when we're talking about launch titles now versus launch titles then, I mean, it was a little bit different, because there is no kind of carry through. Those were like literally the first games available for that system.
That's true.
Ever.
And people were eating that shit up, because there was no
nothing else.
No video games. That was like, oh my god, dude, I can do basic math on my TV. Shit,
this is the best game ever.
Sign me up. So next would be, I guess, in television. Sorry, screw Intellivision. Intellivision was bad too. You had Backgammon, Armor Battle, and like Vegas. But ColecoVision actually has some bangers in here. ColecoVision launched in the United States. I'm gonna say North America, I guess, because it would have launched here at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But you got Carnival, which is a fairly popular game. I think that's that one with the seesaws, and you have to catch the shit in your shit.
Yep.
And then it had Donkey Kong,
good one.
which is a probably the best game pre-NES.
Yeah.
And then you got Mousetrap, which is a really fun game. I used to play that on my my auntie's Commodore 64. And then Zaxxon, I think, is pretty good. I've never played it, but it sounds familiar, like something people have played.
Zaxxon and Donkey Kong would have been the two I would have picked out of this one, which are still good. But I mean, again, too,
those would have been on the Atari, though, too.
We're still talking 1982, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I think if you kind of fast forward towards the NES, and then this is kind of where we start talking about, like, you know, actual, like, this is the game, this is the system. So when you bought the OG NES, October 18th, 1985, right? There was no bundle anymore, right? You bought the system, you bought the game that you wanted, and then from this point forward, and I mean, I guess the other systems still kind of basically the same idea, right? But I mean, you know, the list of titles here in the NES,
some are pretty good.
10-yard fight, baseball, Clue. Like, I mean, some of these are like, but then you
10-yard fight's good. That's like one of my favorite football games. But I legit don't know how to play football, so do not fucking don't go over there saying 10-yard fight's good. I'm the only one that likes that game.
You got Excite Bite.
Yeah, you got Clue Land. I think supposed to be good. Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt's fucking a class. Like, here's the thing: did Duck Hunt and Mario get bundled right off the get go, or was that later on?
That was later on. That was like, I think a second or third release of the console.
Oh, okay.
I want to say the second release of the console. There's the third one. Then they re-released. So they released it with no games. Then they released it with Super Mario Duck Hunt. Then they released it with Super Mario Duck Hunt and the running game that
World Track and Field or whatever, right?
Yep. And then I think at one point there was a Super Mario 3. So this is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Is because the systems up to this point, you bought the system, you bought the game, regardless of launch. It didn't make a difference. But now you're talking about when a console's released and then re-released with games and maybe an extra controller and extra stuff tucked into the box. So this is kind of start coming into my point where it's like, you know, you buy that launch title and you're actually all you're doing is helping drive the sales of that system. You're not actually getting anything for it, because when you buy that system at $500 and I buy that system at $500 a year later, I actually gain.
You're getting a game and a light gun,
whatever it is.
Yeah. But to be honest, the NES, that's not bad. Like, there's some good games in there, at least for that as a launch. But as we progress through this, we're gonna find that a lot of these console launch titles either basically they have nothing really like major being released at launch, or it's just games from previous consoles, right? But like, I mean, if you were to buy an NES at launch, you had a choice between, you had Duck Hunt, you had Excite Bike, you had Hogan's Alley, which is a great light gun game. You had
You were picking up Mario Bros.
Super Mario Brothers. You had Wrecking Crew. You had 10-Yard Fight, motherfuckers.
Wild Gunman. When did Back to the Future 2 come out? I'm actually interested in that, because they actually reference Wild Gunman in that.
Really?
You know that part? Yeah. So
is that the arcade game where he's like, "That's a baby's game"?
That's right. You gotta use your hands. That's a baby's toy.
Yeah. Right?
Okay. And so I mean, and it's funny because then you start seeing stuff like that being tucked into movies and pop culture and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I have to say, on this list, I was really not impressed, surprised that the only game listed for the Master System's launch is Hang On Safari Hunt.
Yeah, well, and it was built into the console too.
Right.
So that's not bad, really. You get home, you don't even buy any games, but there are no games to buy either.
There are no games. That's what I'm saying. That's really weird to me.
It is weird.
I gotta say, that was an interesting choice. So.
But Choplifter and Fantasy Zone would have been coming out soon, but still, if you're buying it launch day, you're only playing Hang On and Safari Hunt, which are fine games, but not
great games,
worth whatever it is to play, whatever a console's worth back then. Not
come on,
good.
Sega 1985 or 1986, release some games, would you?
Yeah, dude. And then you got the Genesis. You got Space Harrier 2, which is okay. It's not a system seller, but it's gonna be fun.
I was shocked with this list because I thought that Sonic 2 was a Genesis pack-in right off the hop.
Nope.
But
Sonic
but
1 didn't
I
even
can't-
come out till like
That's right.
2 or 3 years after the Genesis.
And I thought that game was actually released with the Genesis. So when I was reading through this list, I was like, "Oh man, that's really interesting."
Yeah, no.
Because I don't remember any of these. Like, I mean, going back, Altered Beast. and
Altered
Alex
Beast,
Kidd.
they did launch. I don't know if it was immediate at launch, but they did do a bundle with Altered Beast, which is a terrible game.
It's not good.
I think it was good maybe back then, like people thought it was good maybe, but it's a really bad game.
Going back now, not
Not
so
a
great.
single real good. Ghouls and Ghosts probably the best on the Genesis, I think. Like that's
Yeah.
the best version of that game. Still
Yeah.
not that great. I wouldn't buy a Genesis to play Ghouls and
Also,
Ghosts.
1989. I was like, wow, really? 1989? That's pretty early on. Because I mean, then you think about it. Super Nintendo was what, 92, 90?
Here
91.
it was 91. It says, yeah.
Okay, and so here's the difference between a console that drops with like some absolute bangers for a launch versus a console that drops with kind of okay games. Because we just talked about the Genesis lineup, right?
Yeah.
Take a look at the Super Nintendo lineup. You got Super Mario World,
Oh, yeah.
fantastic.
You got
which
good
I
stuff.
think was a pack-in.
I think it was too. I want to say it was.
I want to say they released the Super Nintendo with that cartridge there, but even if they didn't, I mean, you were picking that up. Then you have F-Zero, also
Pilot
friggin'
Wings.
fantastic. Pilot Wings was good. Gives you
SimCity.
motion sickness, but it was good.
It gives you motion sickness.
SimCity was good for what it is.
Yeah,
It
if
doesn't
you're
play
into
nicely on
that,
the Super
it's
Nintendo.
good. But I'm not into that, right?
Yeah, and then Gradius 3 that's like an R-Type kind
Yep.
of game.
I think
isn't
it's
it?
like R-Type. Yep.
And I've played that one before, and that one was good too. But Super Mario World and F-Zero, probably two of my most favorite Super Nintendo games.
Yeah,
of all
same
time.
here. Like honestly, like that. If out of all these consoles, if you bought one of these on launch and didn't have to feel shame, it was the Super NES.
Absolutely.
Like there's some
Yeah,
fucking absolutely good games on that.
Yeah.
But does it even compare? Because the Sega CD had Marky Mark Make My Video right at launch. Like the greatest game of all time, as well as Sewer Shark and Night Trap. So honestly, if you think about it, that's almost like Night Trap, Sewer Shark. Those are like the only two games people talk about on the Sega CD other than Sonic CD and Snatcher. So I mean, I guess you had half the library launched at launch. I don't know how good of a thing that is. Same with the 32X.
Yeah. See, the 32X was Doom and Star Wars Arcade.
Those are
And
the
they
only
did
two games on the console.
Yeah, Virtual Racing Deluxe. I've never actually played it
It's bad.
on the 32X.
It's really bad.
But I've seen it in the arcade. No,
But
not
Doom
for
and
me.
Star Wars Arcade are probably the best two games on the 32X.
See, and the thing is, the Doom 32X was what, like almost a direct PC port of it. It had the right music and stuff, but wasn't it prone to like loading times and stuff?
I
too?
heard they had to change some of the levels and stuff. I don't know. The only version of OG Doom I played was on the 32X. I only played Doom 2 on PC, so I don't know the differences, but I heard that the 32X version isn't that good.
Yeah.
And that the
And
Super NES version is actually better.
And it's funny that the Sega CD and the 32X both launched around the time of the height of the Super Nintendo, right?
Yeah, because they were trying to one-up it, basically, right?
Right. And then to bridge the gap between the Genesis and the Saturn, and to bridge the gap between the Super NES and then eventually the 64, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, when you get to the Sega Saturn, what were they thinking?
What do they got?
What
What do
were
they
they
got
thinking
here?
for games
Clockwork.
here?
Okay, here's the thing. A lot of these games are games that people really like. Like Clockwork Knight is a cult classic. A lot of people do really like that game. Not a fan.
Right.
I do have it. It's not very good. Daytona USA. People love fucking Daytona USA.
Yep.
I don't know
Racing
why.
game, though.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's all right. Panzer Dragoon is a real fucking good game. One of the
Yes.
better games on the Saturn. And then a lot of people like Virtua Fighter. So
Yeah.
that's not
But I mean,
bad,
the thing
honestly.
It's not bad, but these are targeted games. These are not games to sell your console. if I'm looking at the display case, right, and then we're gonna get to the PlayStation and the 64 as we kind of come down the road here. But when you're looking at so you're 15, you're 16, you're a parent buying a Christmas present for your kid, you're gonna look at that.
Sorry, you're like you're 15, you're 16, and you're a parent.
And you're a parent all at the same time. You're looking at the shelf. Okay, there's the Saturn, there's the PlayStation, there's the 64. Are you telling me you're going to buy the system that has Clockwork Knight? Are you telling me you're going to buy the system that has Panzer Dragoon? Unless your kid literally says, this is the one that I want.
Yeah, it's not...
Because think back, there's no internet at this time to tell you about games.
Yeah.
There's nothing, right? So as a kid, you're going off of magazine ads. You're going off of if you saw it in a TV show. Maybe you watched a video game show on TV or something like that.
Game Pro, pretty much. Like,
yep.
I don't even know if EGM existed. I can't remember.
No, and I mean, and you're talking with your friends who your friends probably don't have the Saturn. Your friends probably have the 64. They probably have the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Or at that point, the 3DO I think was released at the same time too, right? There's a boatload of different games. Yeah, really. There's a boatload of different consoles and different games out there at this point. I look at this list and I go, there's not one game on here that is like the system seller.
Yeah,
if you think back to Super Nintendo, that was Super Mario World and F-Zero.
Yeah, I think what you're saying basically is like there's not a game that everybody would like. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yes.
I love Panzer Dragoon. It's a great game. One of the games I got a Saturn for, but would I pay launch price just to play Panzer Dragoon? Fuck
exactly. And that's exactly what I'm saying. And I mean, and you know, it's the kind of age old thing. Like you talk to anybody who owns a Super Nintendo, ask them if they have a copy of Super Mario World.
Everybody does.
You talk to anybody who has an NES, ask them if they have a copy of Super Mario 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is you have to have those. And since we're talking launch titles, we're specifically talking in this case about Super Mario 1, right?
Yeah.
But I mean,
which is in my opinion the best Super Mario game on the NES. The only
you look at these games, and Virtua Fighter maybe as a Saturn owner you would have that title.
Yeah.
But even then, it's still kind of like
it's super niche.
Yes, exactly, and that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? The PlayStation release, because I played some of these games, and maybe I hold a little bit of bias to it.
Yeah, even they're not
but
good.
I'm looking at this list going like, I don't know, guys.
I think the only one I've played was okay, the only ones I've played, so I'll list them off, I guess. Air Combat, Battle Arena Toshinden, ESPN Extreme Games. Not even gonna try and pronounce that one. No. NBA Jam Tournament Edition, which is I have on the Genesis. Why the fuck would I buy a PS1 to play that?
Come on.
The Raiden Project, which is like an R-type kind of game. Rayman, it's made by Ubisoft. Break it in half. Ridge Racer, which apparently a lot of people like, but those are the same guys that are. If you're into racing games, you're gonna get fucking the Saturn because Daytona USA is better.
Totally. Yep.
Street Fighter the movie, the game.
Awful. Just awful.
Total Eclipse Turbo, never even heard of it, and Zero Divide, never even heard of it. Why nobody should have bought a PS1 at launch?
No,
there's not a reason.
The PS1 at launch, and I mean, and this is funny because like they had to have released some decent games right after this because the PS1 that my older brother picked up back in the day, the quote unquote launch titles that he picked it up with were Mortal Kombat 3, Warhawk.
Oh, that was a good game.
And one other one, and I can't remember the name of it. But I have played Battle Arena Toshinden, which would have been the versus to Virtua Fighter. It's okay. It's a fighter. It's an early age fighter.
I'd say it's better than Virtua Fighter, but it's still not good.
I would say so too, but I mean honestly, we haven't even got to Tekken yet, and that would have all of these. ESPN Extreme Games and ESPN Extreme Games 2. Very good games.
Oh, really?
Those were fun.
Oh,
because
okay.
it was just like at one, like you would do street luge and you would do it through a city down a street and you would be dodging cars and stuff like that. It was just one of those games and there was like skateboarding and rollerblading. And stuff like that.
That'd probably be fun.
It was just a fun game, but again,
not a console seller.
No, this list, and again, Ridge Racer would have been like the title, I guess.
Yeah.
You would have gone for. But I mean, you look at this list. I'm not buying a PS1.
No.
I'm not buying a PS1 on this list.
The only games I played on this were Air Combat. I played it at my uncle's house.
Which
not
wasn't great.
Great. Battle Arena Toshinden. Paul
Yep.
had that. We played it a little bit. It wasn't very good. And then NBA
Yep.
Jam Tournament Edition, which I fucking have on my Genesis. So
That's right.
why
Yep.
would I buy a PS1 to play that? I guess I also played Rayman, but not really my thing.
Yeah.
So moving on to the Nintendo 64.
This blew me away.
This one, okay, here's the thing. Here's what people who are Nintendo 64 stands will not admit. The Nintendo 64 only had, like, maybe 4 good games, and, like, I think, what was it? It was one of the Nintendo Powers I was reading. It showed all the 64 games released that year. I don't remember what year it was, but there was, like, 4 games. Like, there's no
it's
games
ridiculous.
on the 64.
I gotta say, so the Nintendo 64 launches September 29th, 1996, with Pilot Wings 64 and Super Mario 64. That's it.
Yep.
I'm blown away. 2 games? What?
But, but at the same time,
More than that.
if you're a big Mario guy, big Nintendo guy, the
Yeah,
only
you're
game
playing
you're gonna
Super
want to
Mario
get
64.
is fucking Super Mario 64 anyway. So that one's kind of a balance, because that's the other thing with these console launch titles and console launches is if there's just one game, if it's fucking the game to get at the time, you can kind of almost justify getting the console for it.
Well, and I gotta say the 64. I gotta say the games had to have dropped afterwards, like, very quickly, because I gotta tell you, I remember other games coming out for the 64 very shortly after it was released.
I think the first year there were 6 games released. There's not a lot of 64 games. It's not.
That's so crazy to me.
It is weird. It's fucking weird. But also, hi Vector. Vector just jumped in. But yeah, not a great launch. But at the same time, if you're a big Mario guy, Mario 64 is a pretty big game for the
That's
time.
a massive game. Yeah.
And
I mean,
it set
anybody
the
who picked
standard for 3D platforming.
That
so
is true. Yeah. Anybody who picked up a 64, honestly, like, if you were full in on the Nintendo 64, you had Super Mario 64, and most of those people, even talking to them now, will still tell you that Super Mario 64 was one of the best games that they've played.
yeah, a lot of people
they love it. They eat it up.
A lot of people consider it like their favorite game of all time.
I had a 64, but later on in life, which I think is why this list is so surprising to me, because we were a PlayStation household.
Yeah,
and
pretty
so
much.
I still, at this point, have never played Super Mario 64.
You've
And I
never
picked
played
up-
it?
Never,
What?
not even once.
I don't
never
even like
turned
it.
the
I
game
hate
on.
that game, and I think I
never even
have
turned
it.
the game on.
I think I
I
have
have
it.
a copy of it. So I have
Oh.
a copy of it only and I don't have like a legit, not a legit. I don't have like the 64 version. I picked up the Switch.
Oh, okay.
Super Mario
No, that's the
3D
same,
All
though.
Stars.
I thought you
Because
were
here's
like,
the other
I
thing.
killed somebody and took it from them.
No. Here's the thing. So not only did I not play Super Mario 64, but I also didn't play Super Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, nobody
either.
played Super Mario Sunshine, though.
That's funny because that is one of those polarizing games, and we'll get to it as we get down the line here. But that's one of those polarizing games where you either loved it or you absolutely hated it.
I
You
liked
thought
it.
was so boring.
I thought it was
I-
fun as fuck to just screw around in, but nobody played it because nobody really had a GameCube. Like, let's be honest, it was a great console. Not a lot of people had it.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm one of those people.
So now let's move into an absolute banger of a launch here with the Philips CDI. Okay,
You're going there.
You-
I'll let you handle this one.
You've got Battleship. I mean, who doesn't know about Battleship? They made it into a board game, for fuck's sakes. There's a movie based on this CDI game. Like, game of the century, right? You got Beauty and the Beast, another game that did so well, they made a movie of it. Caesar's World of Boxing. I can only imagine it's like people like making boxes and stuff like that. Who doesn't want to make boxes?
And if you don't know what the CDI is, it was full motion video.
It was like
It wasn't-
watching a movie.
It wasn't like a video game with graphics. It was full motion video like the Sega CD.
Oh yeah, except way
worse.
better. And then you got Connect 4, another fucking game that was so good, they made a board game out of it.
That's right.
And then Pack Panic, I don't know. They're all bad. Okay, moving on to the
Terrible.
Dreamcast.
Awful. Just awful. Now the Dreamcast. Okay, here's the thing. I feel so bad for the Dreamcast.
It had
The
a good
Dreamcast
launch.
Had potential.
This is definitely the
They
best launch so
had-
far.
Up to this point, we're gonna go through this list. The games, they nailed it. The system was cool. It was innovative. It had that little memory unit that you put into the controller. You could take it with you, and you could play little games on it and stuff like that.
Feed your chow.
The Dreamcast did such a great job, but they botched I think what was it? They rushed it out.
No, it was because the PS2 came out right away and had a DVD player in it, and
they rushed the Dreamcast.
Did not have a DVD player
to beat the PS2, and because of them doing that, they ended up actually shooting themselves in the foot. They could have held back after the PS2 launched.
Put a DVD player in there.
Put a DVD player in it, and I honestly, truly think that the Dreamcast would have won the
I think it would have. It would have been. It would have been still in there. That's for sure. It wouldn't have died. But you've got Arrow Wings. Never really heard of that. Air Force Delta, Blue Stinger, Expendable, Flag to Flag, and then you got House of the Dead 2, one of my favorite games of all time.
How did they make House of the Dead 2 work without a light gun?
They did have a light gun.
Oh, they did have one. Okay.
Yeah. House of the Dead. Do I have House of the Dead 1 and 2 on the Saturn, or just 1? But anyways, House of the Dead. I fucking love House of the Dead, man.
Yeah.
It's so good. Hydro Thunder, that's a good game. That's that boat racing Twisted Metal game, basically.
Oh, okay.
And then you got Monaco Grand Prix for the guys that want to play like boring racing games. Mortal Kombat Gold. I guess if you like Mortal Kombat a lot.
I'm not blown away yet.
NFL 2K, so you already got those guys. NFL Blitz 2000, you already got those guys covered. Power Stone, amazing fucking
awesome game. Yes.
Ready to Rumble Boxing, one of the funnest boxing games of all time. Sonic Adventure, one of the few good Sonic 3D games. Soul Calibur, this was the first Soul Calibur game. Amazing 3D fighter, which is hard to do. It's so hard to make good 3D fighters. These are all really good launch titles.
Bangers. These are bangers. These 4 titles alone are awesome. Now, I mean, I never really played any of the other ones, save for House of the Dead 2. And then some of the other ones as you go down the list are kind of those it's not really shovelware, but it's basically it's
borderline.
At that time, before there was just
before there was actual shovelware.
You know, this was the shovelware version of it, where you'd have like the ESPN racing game, right? Like, Power Stone, Ready to Rumble Boxing, Sonic Adventure, Soul Calibur. Those games alone are just a fantastic.
This is the best. This is the best one so far, I think. Hey?
So far,
yeah. This was the best one, but the problem is
we haven't gotten PS2. It's right there.
PS2 is literally the best one of all time. That's the problem. Yeah. That's the problem.
Yes. This is specifically why the Dreamcast did so bad.
Yeah. By the way, Vector said he does not like Super Mario Sunshine.
Well,
it's fun to fuck around in. I've never actually played the game to play the game. I've just been like
Super Mario Sunshine is polarizing. There is nobody that's just like, yeah, it's okay, I guess. There's people who love it. There's people who don't like it, like at all, right?
Yeah.
And that is, it's so funny because it does. Anyone who played it were like, oh, this was great back in the day. Yeah. And then when you go back to it, it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's all right. It's not great. I kind of don't like it, and then it would never be really your first choice.
Yeah.
But the people who love it, they just
I like messing around in it, but it's I don't know. I don't like Mario, but it's fun to mess around in. So then you got the PS2. Now we got some good fucking games here, and I'll tell you which one. My cousin got the PS2 at launch. So also we should say if there's any consoles that we got at launch as we go through this, just let each other and everyone know.
Absolutely.
My cousin got, when did this come out? October 26th. My cousin got this at launch, and yeah, I remember we had like an early Christmas or something, and he brought some of these games to my grandparents' house, so I got to play them, and that's when I was like, dude, I need to get a PS2.
And this is now a year and a month past the Dreamcast.
Yeah,
the Dreamcast dropped September 9/9/99.
Yeah, so just 1 year basically.
99. This is a year and a month after the Dreamcast.
So dropped. Dreamcast was fucking on fire probably by this point.
Well, but here's the thing, though.
But I think they were both announced around the same time, so people were holding out.
Mm-hmm. But here's the problem, though, is when we're gonna go through this list, consider the fact that now the PS2 has basically doubled the processing power, has increased the graphics, has increased
it's taken the time.
all of it, right? there's the DVD that's in there, DVD drive that's in there, all of these other components that are within the PS2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and just to pick, I'm just gonna pick one title, and we'll go through the list here. But Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2. So the
Yeah,
Dreamcast
you
dropped
already
with
got
Ready
the
to Rumble
sequel
Boxing,
out
but now I've got the
at
sequel over on this
launch.
side,
Yeah,
and it's better.
yeah.
Okay, anyway, sorry, don't mean to
So,
jump in there. But.
so one thing, another thing though, is, and it kills me to fucking say this, I'm a huge Sega fan. Like people say like, oh, I'm a Sony fanboy because I'm not really a big Nintendo guy and I hate Xbox. I love Sega. I'm a Sega guy through and through.
Sega's great. Yeah.
But what are you gonna buy? What are you gonna buy? You've seen in the magazines that there's gonna be a PlayStation 2 and there's gonna be a Sega Dreamcast. Okay, well guess what? Guess what you just did a couple months ago or a couple years ago? You bought the Sega CD and they only supported it for maybe a year. I bought the Sega 32X and I only have 2 games on it. 3 actually. Yep. No, 2 games.
The full kit's what, 18, 30 something?
I think there's 12
something?
games or something. Like there's not a lot.
Many.
And then they're like, no. Get this, guys. The Sega Saturn. I was like, nah. You know what? I got burnt twice. I'm not getting the Sega Saturn. And then the Dreamcast comes out, announced at the same time as the PS1. PS1, probably the most successful console to date at that time. Yep. What are you going to do? Are you going to wait? Are you going to jump on the Sega bandwagon and possibly get burnt again? Or are you going to wait and get a PlayStation 2?
Fast forward time, if you jumped on the Dreamcast bandwagon, you would have got burnt.
Yeah, well,
it was
around for a little while, but yeah, you would have got burnt.
You would have got burnt.
But anyways,
you've got bought your PS2.
Let's go through this one, okay? So we've got Armored Core 2, fucking great game.
That was awesome.
Dead or Alive 2, if you're into fighters, probably a good game. I don't know.
And Jiggle Physics.
Yeah, right. That was where they like turn. It's like. But here's the thing. I keep saying if you're into fighting games, I used to be a big fighting game guy, but I only played 2D fighters. I can't play like 3D fighters.
Yeah.
But then Dynasty Warriors 2, Dynasty Warriors was fucking killing it at the time, and I still love Dynasty Warriors. You just shut off your brain, kill a bunch of fucking soldiers, conquer shit. Yeah. Then you got some ESPN games. Winter X snowboarding, I think, was fairly popular, but nah. And then let's keep going. Kessen. This was the game I played that I was like, and I don't even like these kinds of games. This was like an RTS kind of style game.
Yep.
And I remember my cousin coming over with Kessen, and we were playing that, and I was like, dude, these fucking graphics are... I wish I was that real. That's what I think, like, every generation. Not anymore, but up until like the PS4 came out, every generation I was like, you can't get any realer than this, brother.
And that was the one that was like it was an RTS style, but it was like if Dynasty Warriors, instead of being a hack and slash, was an RTS.
Yeah, and you get to see the battles, right? And like all the horses would go and fucking seeing that and like being like, wow, because you would only see something like that on PC maybe, and it would be like little small guys going at each other, and this was like full soldiers fucking riding on horseback into battles, slaughtering each other. Oh man, that was so cool. That was the first PS2 game I ever saw. And then you got Madden NFL, so you're covering that base. You got NHL 2000, you're covering that. I didn't know Midnight Club was a launch title.
And you know what? Midnight Club was a good game.
People love those games, yeah.
But consider the time. This is Gone in 60 Seconds. This is Fast and the Furious have been released. So everyone's like, yeah, street racing, it's great. And then
and Nicolas Cage is like, let's go.
And I mean, and you're in that time. The Midnight Club was good. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, my cousins had those, and I played I think one of them, and it was pretty
Club
cool.
Was better,
but you've got those. You got Ready to Rumble Round 2, like you said, Ridge Racer 5 or V, who knows. Silent Scope was cool as fuck, but was that the one you had to buy like a sniper rifle and like actually look through the scope?
No, you're thinking Super Scope with the bazooka.
No. There was a PS1 one where you actually had to have the.
Oh really?
Yeah. But it was expensive. You had to get the scope, and the sniper rifle. It was an arcade shooter like Virtua Cop, but you had you had a scope and a sniper rifle and stuff.
Nope,
so that is
you're absolutely
fucking
right.
cool.
The gun itself is not a light gun, but it's mounted on an oversized joystick.
Oh, is that what it was?
Apparently, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, like the arcades, because in the arcades how they're like attached to the thing, so you can still turn it. So I think that's what made your camera move and stuff.
Can we just talk for one quick second how you could never have a game like that in an arcade again because of like COVID and stuff?
Oh yeah, now yeah.
You're
will
gonna
eventually
put your eye onto, right?
Yeah. And then Street Fighter X3. Tekken Tag Tournament, though. That's like still one of the better Tekken games. Time Splitters. I've never played it, but they're supposed to be really good. What's that?
Was Time Splitters a fighter too?
No, Time Splitters I think was like a third-person shooter or first-person shooter game.
Okay.
And then Unreal Tournament, which is, I like Unreal Tournament. I don't like first-person shooters, but Unreal Tournament is fun as fuck.
Yep.
That and Quake 3, man, are fun. But these are fucking solid games. I heard X Squad was good too.
Yeah.
These are all, covering every base. You've got a shitload of fucking bangers in here.
Yeah.
This is a console you could get at launch and feel happy about. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so there's enough on here that I think I would be able to find something, but again,
there's not one that's literally I need this.
No.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I would like, and I mean, and maybe in another podcast we can talk about the bundle versions, the bundle releases.
Yeah.
Because I think that changes everything.
It does.
Where because some of the bundles that they released, right? Like, I mean, I think about my PS4, and we'll get to PS4 here, but I didn't buy the PS4 until it was released with the Uncharted bundle.
Oh, wow.
Uncharted 1, 2,
but
3,
it was
right.
Fuck, the price would have been way better.
It came with 4 games. It was the same price as
and
the
a controller.
console,
I'm pretty sure too,
and
right?
An extra controller and 4 games. Why not? To me, that just makes a load of sense.
Oh
right?
yeah,
so,
dude. So then moving into the what is this? The GameCube?
Yeah, the GameCube.
GameCube, you got Crazy Taxi, which is a great game, but it was on the Dreamcast. Luigi's Mansion, snooze fest. And then you got Madden NHL, which is nice because then you do cover those bases. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2, Rogue Leader, great game. Nobody played it. Wave Race, Blue Storm, probably a great game.
There's
Nobody
nothing on
played
this
it.
list that makes me buy a GameCube.
No, not a goddamn
And I mean,
thing,
and
unfortunately.
everyone's going to talk about Luigi's Mansion, but I mean, honestly, I'm not picking.
Not my thing. No. And,
I'm just not picking a GameCube up at this point with those titles.
even if Luigi's Mansion was my thing, I'm not like, oh my god, dude, the GameCube comes out tomorrow.
Luigi's
Mansion.
I can't wait to use my vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, I want to suck off some ghosts. But yeah, nobody's buying that at launch. There's no reason to. I think did Xbox have some? I mean, Xbox had Halo, and that's like
Halo.
Yeah. So that's like when you look at the 64, how the 64 had Mario 64. A lot of people are gonna buy it just for Mario 64, just like a lot of people are buying the Xbox just for Halo. That's the big fucking name game.
On the Xbox launch, there's a whole bunch here, but I can tell you right off the bat the games that people picked up. People picked up Halo. That was the seller for Xbox.
Absolutely. And Shrek. I mean,
if it wasn't Halo, you were looking at Project Gotham Racing, which was
those were supposed to be good too, right?
Yep. If that wasn't your thing, Fusion Frenzy was good because it was a four-person co-op game. And with the Xbox had the 4 controller slots, so that would be you bring people into it from there.
And you've got your sports games, so anybody that wants that, you've got them there too.
Exactly. It was sports from that point forward for the rest of the release games. If you didn't have Halo, you didn't have an Xbox.
Exactly, I agree.
It was that simple.
That's what the system seller was.
That was why you picked up the Xbox. And now this would have been the first console that I bought that was not a bundle. This was a launch version of the.
Did you buy it at launch, or you just bought it shortly after, kind of thing?
I bought it at launch with Halo.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right, but I mean, beyond up to this point,
I
have not picked up not a single one of them. Every single console that I have picked up, and I mean, I've got a few, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, up to this point, every single console I've picked up has been bundled in with a game, because that was I didn't see a benefit.
Yeah, that's same
I didn't
here.
see a benefit to jumping yet.
But yeah, we definitely do have to do a podcast on that, because now I'm thinking of, like,
We gotta talk about
I remember my
bundles.
auntie getting the Donkey Kong Country bundle for her Super Nintendo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is the next console here? 360, I guess.
Then we're at Gen 7, 360, PS3, and
Call of
Wii.
Duty 2. Yeah, there's not a lot going on here.
360's release, not great.
No, but I think
not great.
The thing with the 360 is they really wanted to get it out long before the PlayStation, because then people were gonna jump on that because they were looking for something. Right. People were ready. This was like the one console generation. I mean, I guess the PlayStation as well, but this was another console generation where I feel like people were ready for the next generation of consoles already by this point. Mm-hmm. And Xbox, like Microsoft knew this, so they were like, let's get this fucker out before PlayStation, so we have a base user base before the PlayStation comes out. And that's what happened with us. I was never going to buy an Xbox, and I never will. And you guys all had 360 because it was already out. And I'm like, I'm going to wait for the PS3.
and I mean, and it worked out in your favor, right? Because most people who bought their Xbox 360 November 22nd, 2005, had it die on them a horrible fiery death.
Yeah, the red ring. I forgot about that.
I think I went through on my OG 360 consoles. I want to say I probably went through 4 different consoles.
Holy shit!
Right, because
that's
bad. When I say 4 consoles, I didn't buy 4 consoles. You put that bastard back in the box. You take it back to the store that you bought it from, and you're like, hey, look, this thing's busted. Give me a new one.
Yeah.
And they replace it for you. And then you could talk to Microsoft, and they would swap it once it got past that first little bit. The Xbox 360, to me, is the reason why stores have such a lockdown on returning consoles now.
Yeah.
Because that system was
a disaster,
doomed.
man.
It was a disaster, right? But, I mean, even you look at these games, and again, I didn't get a launch 360, but I mean, you look at these games, AMP 3, Call of Duty 2. So again, first-person shooters, not really a thing on
and
console
even Call of
yet.
Duty wasn't big yet.
Really.
Call of Duty wasn't big yet then either.
It wasn't. No, Call of Duty 2, nothing like Call of Duty is
4.
right now.
4
right?
was the big one. 4 was.
I mean, the shooters on the consoles not massive. There was. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Halo came out in Xbox.
Yeah, Halo. Yeah.
Xbox. But I mean, you play that OG Halo versus a shooter now, and they're vastly different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, original Halo didn't have scoping, unless you were using a weapon that had a scope on it.
Oh yeah, because now everything you could look down the sights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing you couldn't look down the sights unless it had a scope on it.
That's right.
Wasn't the pistol? You could like snipe with the pistol though. That was weird.
Yeah.
That was really weird.
It had 2x scope.
That was weird, but there wasn't a scope on it.
Yeah, there was.
Was there?
Yeah.
I thought it. Okay.
It was like a little. I don't know what they're called, but it was like a little window based.
Oh, okay.
Gun was really good.
Yeah, I
Gun
heard that
was a
was
Western.
good.
That was a good game. Cameo, and then you got a bunch of sports games. Need for Speed Most Wanted was good. That, I mean, again, we're talking kind of at the time.
Yeah.
Most Wanted, not as good as Underground, which was
that's when it kind of Need for Speed came back to life for that.
I can't remember. Whenever Underground was released, was better than Most Wanted. Most Wanted was kind of
Need for Speed was like super popular, like 1, 2, and 3, and then just kind of and then once Underground came out, it came back.
Need for Speed went to Hot Pursuit was what they had in between.
Yeah,
and those were kind of they were okay. They were the primitive versions of Most Wanted, right?
Yeah.
Perfect Dark Zero.
Wasn't it just a remake of Perfect Dark? Or
was it a remake of Perfect Dark. It was
I
its
hate
own...
Perfect Dark.
It wasn't great. It really wasn't great. But again, if you're looking at the console, you don't really know anything about Perfect Dark. The internet's here at this time, so I mean, you're able to look stuff up. As a Perfect Dark fan, that's where you're going because
that's true.
Right? Project Gotham Racing 3 was okay. And then from that point forward, I don't really see anything on this
Quake
list.
4. Didn't even know they made a Quake 4, to be honest. Ridge Racer 6. How much Ridge Racer do you guys need? Come on,
we don't
now.
Need any more
Come
Ridge
on
Racer.
now.
We're good.
We're good. Tiger Woods. I just want to say Tony Hawk's PGA Tour.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods American Wasteland. But nothing that's really gonna sell a console there. I would say no reason to get an Xbox 360. It's funny though, because when I said I waited for a PS3 because everybody was jumping on 360 because it came out way before. So it had that user base already, and you were saying, yeah, but you won for that. I don't feel like it because I still feel like almost all of my friends still had a 360 and would play together on 360. Mind you,
Yeah.
I pretty much only play single player games anyway, so it didn't really hurt me that bad. But it still sucked that none of my friends really had a PS3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they
And
they
I
were
mean,
smart with that. They were smart
absolutely.
releasing it early because of that.
Absolutely. We're also entering the territory of the in on console in-game store. So you have
Oh yeah, you would
you
have
have the
had.
ability to buy games. Now, I mean, not right off
Everybody
the
had
bat.
Geometry Wars.
Yeah, but I mean you have party chat because now online play is a thing. You have a packed-in headset, stuff like that. I didn't pick my 360 up until Gears of War.
Oh, okay.
That was it. I picked my console up for Gears of War, and it was a Gears of War bundle. See, this is what I'm saying is that to me, there is never a situation for me to pick up the launch
Yeah,
console, and I think
there's
it was because
almost never.
I picked up the Xbox launch console. So I mean, I think it was what, $400, $500. Then you drop a $60 game on top there. Then you need another controller at $60.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you need all this other stuff. And then as you own that console, you see them release that bundle. It's like, are you kidding me? You just packed it all in, all the stuff that I've just bought separately. But I understand the need for it. I just wish that as a launch console, they would pack a game in there.
Yeah,
There's no
dude.
reason for them not to bundle it.
No doubt.
Bundle the game.
Yeah, pick one of
Bundle
these
the game.
games that you know, especially with like Halo or something. You know it's gonna be your system seller. So
Yeah.
bundle it.
Well,
Just fucking.
and I mean,
bundle
and that's just it. I understand. You're gonna make more money if you sell the game and the console separate. But then give me one of the crappy games.
I'm gonna
Bundle me something.
jump to some chat questions here quick.
Okay, yeah, you bet.
Vector saying he for the record he had a PS2 and a Dreamcast. He only had Sonic Adventure 2 and NFL 2K for the Dreamcast, but he still felt satisfied just by Sonic Adventure 2 alone.
Sonic Adventure was good.
Yeah, Sonic. I still like the first one better because the second one had like I didn't really like playing as the other characters. And then he said, I'm gonna skip that one. And then he said, the Dreamcast had Mario Kart, Double Dash, and Smash Melee. Those would make you want to get a GameCube. I agree,
Yes.
but not at launch.
Yes, and that's the thing is in all of these cases they've always released at least one, typically many, but at least one game that was like, oh, that game's great. And we haven't hit the point where all these consoles are down the same track, right?
Yeah.
You had Xbox games and PlayStation games, and they were not the same.
No.
Right? They were very different. So you had to pick what games do I like.
Want? Which
Right?
suits your tastes the best.
That's right.
But yeah,
because they weren't cross
platform.
console
Almost
point.
nothing.
Yeah.
Well, not
Almost
almost nothing, but a
Well,
lot.
no, I mean your
wasn't.
sports games would have been cross-platform, but your
that was
good
about
solid
it.
games.
Yeah.
Think of any of those
That's
good solid
crazy
games.
to
The
think
ones
of
that you
now.
just listed there. The ones that you just listed there, they're not cross console at the time.
No. But
Right? Obviously, Sonic's gonna be Sega, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, think about
Not
Gears of War.
anymore.
Gears of War was Xbox only.
yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So I mean, and that made me so mad. I hate the fact that they forced you down a line of your console with a game because there would always be something on the other console that I wanted to play.
Dude, here's my thing. I've always loved console exclusives when it worked out for
When it
me.
works for you.
Yeah. That's how it is. Cuz like I had the PS1, so I just love like PS1 had all I pretty much I don't play a lot of multiplayer. I play mostly like single player story driven games, right? And that's where like the
Sony was
PlayStation has
RPG
always been good. Yeah.
Sony has always been the RPG machine.
Yeah.
Honestly, all the way up till PS
till the Switch. The Switch
Really?
is now
Well,
taking over.
Switch is the RPG machine. But I mean, honestly, up to the 360 didn't even really have RPGs until the end of its life cycle.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the Xbox One that they started releasing the games, the RPGs across the board. PlayStation always held on to the RPGs.
Yeah, it did for the most part.
Always.
But yeah, Vector, we're just talking about just launch
Launch
titles and like buying console at launch. Should you do it? Usually,
Because
almost
it's not going to
always
come
no.
with a game, so which one of these is going to take it home for you?
So now
What about the PS?
yeah,
PS3?
we got the PS3 now. Blazing
And you said
Angels.
This was what you picked up on launch.
So this was the console I got on launch. This is the only console I ever got on launch. I still regret it. There are some good games in here. It was totally not worth it.
Yeah.
I got so there's Blazing Angels, Squadrons of World War II. Actually, a really fun, good game. I didn't have that when here's the thing. The
Was that an air
PS3 was
fryer?
fucking expensive when it came out.
It was.
It was
the
so
most
expensive.
And there
So,
was two versions too, right?
shit. Yeah, there was
There
this
was I think there was a
the
20
40 and the
and a
80, I
60 or
think.
something. Yeah, 40 and 80. That makes sense.
I got the 80. But anyways, Squadrons of World War II, really good fun game, to be honest. I should stream that sometime. It's super fun. Call of Duty 3, Genji Days of the Blade, absolutely terrible game. I thought I was going to like it. I have it now, and it's fucking real bad. NFL 07, good for those guys. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, first one wasn't really that good.
Not great, but it was one of a kind almost.
That's true. That kind of thing. Well, I get no, because you had X-Men Legends and stuff on the PS2.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. This was kind of, but I guess for me, the thing I liked about Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 was that it spread across the Marvel universe.
Yeah, instead of
you
just
could have Spider-Man with Iron Man, with Thor, with whoever, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can mix.
But I still, the first one's not very good. The second one was fucking amazing.
Was awesome.
Yeah. And then you got Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam Crossfire, the worst Gundam game ever made.
Was this your launch title?
No, this was fuck no. Resistance was my launch title. Which is good. Resistance is a fucking good game.
That was a good game. It was a good game.
It was good. And Resistance 2 is still one of my favorite games. But still, should I have bought a fucking console just to play Resistance? Not a chance. And the worst part, all I had was Resistance. And then I had some shitty game on like the PlayStation Network called Pain, and you just slingshot a person through a city.
Oh, I remember that game.
it was like that's all I had. That and some shitty Tekken game that I got for free for some reason. It was like Tekken 4: The Dark Resurrection or something. And it was like so here's the thing. I go out, I spend $600 or whatever on this console, plus another $60 on Resistance, plus $30 or $20 on Pain, and I'm sitting at home. I have 2 games to play for that much money.
Yeah, you're sitting at home playing your PS2.
Basically, yep. Sitting at home playing my PS2.
Now, here's the thing. Here's why I will tell you that the PS3 launch console was better than the Xbox 360 launch console. Are you ready?
Because it didn't die.
There's my launch console.
Oh. Mine did die. Mine did die. I can't even. No,
they did have what was it? The yellow light or whatever. This isn't a launch console, but it's one of the OG fatty PS3s.
The fat boys.
Works like a champ.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, that, like I said, the 360, I think I replaced it 4 different times, and then it died way later that it wouldn't be replaced. So I ended up having to buy another one. Oh my god! Because it died in the middle of Mass Effect 3 at the height of a massive battle.
Dude. Uncharted 3 was what killed my PS3.
That's it. I think it's targeted, and maybe it wasn't your case, but I mean, like, it was like Mass Effect 3. I won't say anything about story, but the main guy runs in. He's like, "Oh, there's the guy that I've been chasing through." Dude,
that's like the same. Like, you played Uncharted 3, right? The third one. So remember that part where you flashback and you're a little kid, Nathan?
Yep.
And you're climbing in. You're going into the window to like steal something from Sully's house. He's like climbing up. He's climbing into the window. I was like, what the fuck? I try turning it off. Won't turn off. I unplug it. Okay. Turn it back on. Boots up. Go to start the game. Freezes again. And then it wouldn't even turn on again.
See, the thing was
it was heartbreaking, man.
Brutal.
And I had no money. I was like,
my game
credit
locks
cards,
up.
Boys.
Yeah, 100%. I did the exact same thing. My game locks up. And I did the same thing. I shut the console off because I was like, that was weird. I just caught a weird glitch. Turn it on. Black screen. Look down at my console. Blink, 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 blink. Red lights. And I was like, you son of a bee.
Oh, that's the worst, dude.
Yeah. And then what they did was they completely gutted the console. They replaced it with non-Red Ring of Death parts as they kind of moved as they were moving towards the Xbox One. ended up getting one of those consoles, and that's the one I have now. Works perfectly
Frick,
fine,
man.
but I mean, those OG ones, yeah. The PS3, that thing's gonna run forever, apparently.
No, mine's dead.
But,
Mine died twice.
But yeah, to resuscitate it. So, yeah, again on the PS3, not Resistance. I think would have been the one.
That would
game
have been
I
the
would've
system
picked off
seller,
the
but still, I
It's
can
still a pretty
personally
weak
say
system seller.
I regret it. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the money.
So here's the thing with we're coming up to the Wii,
Ooh, baby.
and let's go through the Wii's list. And I tell you, the
Fucking
Wii
boxing.
had one of the best launch titles
Bowling.
on the planet.
You got
Wii
it all. Wii Sports,
Sports.
motherfucker, does
And
everything you want the Wii to do.
This is what I'm talking about. They bundled the game in with the console,
yeah,
and they
right off the bat.
They murdered everyone wanted a Wii. You
Oh,
could
yeah,
not find a
dude.
Wii. It was years before you could get a Wii because they were so sold out. Because Nintendo
Fucking-
does their Nintendo thing. With this Wii Sports,
Yeah,
hands
dude. Wii
down,
Sport. Everybody had it.
I gotta say, best launch up to this point, best launch title.
Absolutely.
Easily best launch title.
I played it I didn't buy it at launch, but Chad did, and everybody was over at Chad's fucking playing
Everyone's
baseball,
playing Wii
bowling,
Sports.
tennis, fucking.
I tried.
You
I was trying to
literally
get a
just
launch
do this
title.
and you win every time. By the way,
Yeah.
did you ever know that?
Back to
Yeah, yeah. You guys are just jumping all over the place, but it was like so much fun when it first came out.
Check out this list of Wii games that nobody bought. Avatar: The Lost Airbender, Call of Duty 3, Cars, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2, Excite Truck, The Grim Adventures of Bill and Mandy, GT Pro Series, Happy Feet,
Ooh,
Twilight
console seller.
Princess, terrible.
Oh,
We'll pin that. Not terrible game, but the Wii, terrible. NFL 07, Ultimate Alliance, which we're now almost a complete year after it released.
yeah, it's just finally coming out on the Wii.
November 17, 2006 on the PS2. November 19th, 2000. Oh, that's not that far off. I guess they were right near each other. I thought it was almost a year after. But
Yeah, same.
Monster 4x4 World Circuit, Need for Speed Carbon, Rampage Total Destruction, Rayman Raving Rabbids,
Ooh.
Red Steel,
Red Steel was a system
Red Steel
seller
was good.
too, hey?
Super Monkey Ball, SpongeBob SquarePants, Tony Hawk, Trauma Center, and then Wii Sports.
Yeah, dude.
This list of games, not great. Wii
No,
Sports,
but there are
best
some
selling
bad.
game ever.
Yeah, it is. It's everybody needed a Wii because that's nowadays. If somebody that's like 18 years old, maybe watching this, would not understand that motion controls didn't exist until then. That was
Up to the
revolutionary as fuck.
That was brand new.
Yeah, and as much as motion controls suck
Well-
ass, especially on the Wii, that was just
Yeah.
something none of us had ever experienced before.
I guess it's not fair to say motion controls never existed because you had things like the Power Glove.
Right,
But they
never
basically never
worked
existed.
at all.
Well,
and now
it
they
wasn't-
work
wasn't a-
kind of.
It was it wasn't the reason for that system, right?
Yeah.
So I need to expand a bit. Twilight Princess was a Wii system seller. When you bought a Wii,
Oh, yeah,
you
a
weren't
lot of people did
you
get
bought
it.
Twilight Princess, and I'm sorry for that because that game is trash on the Wii.
Yeah, it is.
You
It's
have
really
to pick
bad.
that up on the Wii U or
the
GameCube.
GameCube. And that's the other
If you
thing.
got it on the Wii,
It's already.
it's a-
Oh, actually, I think it came on the game. They
was
purposely
released on the
released
GameCube.
it later on the GameCube.
Yeah,
It
so
was
you buy
actually
the Wii.
built on the GameCube, and then they released it as a launch title on the Wii. Because if they just released it at the same time on the GameCube, people would have just got it on the GameCube. Because
Which
Nintendo
would have
is a
made
bunch
so
of
much
slimy sons of bitches.
I have to tell you honestly, as someone who's played that game, I couldn't finish it because the waggle controls
Oh,
were
it's
so bad.
It's so
bad, unbelievably bad. So Wii Sports is definitely the winner up to this point.
Red Steel, another system seller though. Like Chad had that one.
Red Steel was
I remember
good.
seeing ads for that one, and it doesn't control very good, but
No.
it looks badass. Like if you
But the thing
yeah,
The
go
thing
ahead.
about Red Steel is that they had it
The
was a thing where
microphone, or
the
the
microphone
speaker.
and the speaker, you would hold it like a phone.
Yes.
And it would tell you something. So when we were playing multiplayer, right, it would be like you have to take out so and so, this guy,
Yeah.
and you
You
have
had,
to,
like,
you have to
hits.
take him down. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
you have to. The guy you have to kill is this guy, and everybody and nobody but you can hear it, so nobody knows who the guy that's supposed to be hunting is. It was pretty good. The concept was good. The game kind of not great,
Yeah,
but
not great.
people bought it. A lot of people bought it. And then we're getting into what do we got here?
That brings us into last generation.
Right.
So the Xbox One, PS4, and the Wii U. So Xbox One launches November 22nd, 2003. This is just a stinker lineup, man. I gotta say. And I again picked up like an idiot a launch.
Oh, did you?
Xbox One.
Oh,
Yeah.
the worst console.
This was the last launch console that I picked up because
what game? Why?
So because all of the people that I was console gaming with at the time were moving to Xbox One, we wanted to continue on with this. And so the launch titles for the Xbox One: Angry Birds Star Wars, Assassin's Creed 4, Battlefield 4, Call of Duty Ghosts, Dead Rising 3, FIFA 14, Fighter Within, Forza Motorsport, Just Dance, Lego Superheroes, Marvel Superheroes, Madden, NBA, 2 different NBA games,
Live and 2K.
Need for Speed Rivals, Rise Son of Rome, Skylanders, Swap Force, Zoo Tycoon, and Zumba Fitness.
Okay, what game
Terrible.
did you get out of this?
I picked up Dead Rising 3, Forza Motorsport 5, and Call of Duty Ghosts. And the reason why is because I was big into Call of Duty at the time, along with the friends that I was playing already.
Right.
And so that Call of Duty Ghosts wasn't released on 360. That only came out on Xbox One.
Oh. Black Flag was on PS3 though, right? Like PS3
Black Flag
and 360.
was on all of them. Yeah. I'm not an Assassin's Creed fan.
Yeah, same.
That's not my kind of game. But I regret that purchase so bad because this is what ended up happening for me. I picked up that Xbox One on launch. I played it for what it was, but I was coming out of the realm of console gaming at that point, moving more towards PC gaming. And then I ended up actually picking up a PS4 later on. And I played and play that PS4 way more. That Xbox One of mine has been shut off for years.
Oh man,
years.
I think Xbox One in the past, man. I think on this list, it's the worst console.
This is a terrible lineup for launch titles. And I look at this list and I'm like, what was I thinking? But I mean, again, if you consider at the time, this is kind of now moving out of the world of console exclusives, moving more towards all of the platforms are going to have the same. They still don't yet at this point. This is still 2013, so we're talking 7 years ago.
Right.
But I mean, as they move closer to combat exclusivity is gone, most things are moving to PC. The only thing that I really do, and I think I have it here somewhere. Yeah, I do. It's right here. This is basically my computer controller.
It's just that's it.
This is what my.
That's the only good thing that came out of the fucking
$600 launch console turned into a controller.
PC controller.
And again, I plug that into my computer. I play all the games that I would have on the Xbox One on my PC.
Xbox One's got to be the worst. Like, not even just launch, but it's got to be the worst console as far as like games that's come out in a long time. Like, I can't think of anything else other than like CDI and stuff, which can't even count.
The 360 made a ton of improvements towards online playing. They were the first one to have like party chat. They were the first one to kind of do all those types of things. And they made the online gaming a little bit better, but I mean, when they moved to Xbox One, I really feel they missed the ball. Yeah. PS4 definitely kicked some butt there.
But as we'll see here, it kicked the butt later on because the PS4 had the almost exact same games for launch.
I think the differences here for launch on PS4 would have been
Warframe,
Knack.
Oh, Knack,
Warframe,
baby.
Killzone.
And I'm sure Killzone was great, but come the fuck on. Nobody's buying a PS4 for Killzone.
The amount of people that were saying how good Knack was because they were like, I got the PS4 launch title. Look at Knack. It's so great.
Oh,
so bad.
It's so bad, man. Should have released a Ratchet and Clank or something.
They should have. Yeah, absolutely.
It was bad. I guess Killzone would have been the system seller, but not. I think they were pushing Knack though. That's the sad thing. They were pushing Knack.
I don't see the Wii U on this list.
Yeah, it just didn't
exist.
There it is.
Oh,
there it's below the Switch. Why?
They're like, don't look at this. Don't look at this.
Oh, so, there's a lot of games actually.
The Wii U launched with a bunch of games, but they were doing that thing that like they did with the Nintendo 64, where they're putting a U on all the titles, right?
Right.
See, Zombie U was one of the big ones.
Yeah, that was a big one. I do remember that.
Yeah, it was a terrible game.
Oh,
it was not great.
A lot of people had it though.
New Super Mario Bros. U.
Nintendo
That one was a good
Land.
one. uh, Honestly, looking at the rest of this list, I'm just, it's just not good.
Yeah,
This
there's a
is
lot of
not a good
games.
console.
None of them really
They
that
tried
good.
really hard, but it wasn't good. It wasn't until things like games like Splatoon.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Splatoon came out on that,
there was
hey?
a bunch of games, but they were way after launch, right?
Yeah,
The launch console, not great,
not good at
not
all.
great. Not a big fan of that.
And then
Um,
the
the
Switch.
Switch,
The Switch
yeah,
again. Breath of the Wild really is the only one. Really?
yeah. I gotta say,
Unless you're a die-hard Bomberman fan, you're
it
gonna
was
buy a Switch to play
the
Bomberman
Breath,
R.
Breath of the Wild was the reason why you were buying a Switch,
Mm-hmm.
really. Really, I mean, and they released a lot of games after that. You know, the one thing I love about the Switch that they've been doing since launch is those Nintendo Direct releases, where they
Like
talk
the
about the new games that are coming
oh
out.
yeah,
The
they do
Switch
that
had it
every
implemented in there so that you could actually just watch that. You didn't have to go to YouTube or something like that. You could just
yeah.
watch it right in from the
That
console.
was the 3DS kind of started that too.
Yeah.
But
So,
maybe we'll do
so that kind of
handhelds at a different
yeah,
date. But
yeah, handhelds
that's
at
a
a different.
lot.
The newest releases, the Xbox Series X and the PS5.
Yeah, you're the. I think
Looking
you
at
have
the
the list. I don't
release,
have the
I
list
do
there.
have the
So
list. Looking at the release title. So the PS5 was released with a bunch of games, and I'll skip some of the ones that are kind of common because you got like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Borderlands 3, right? Bug Snacks, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War,
Snacks.
right?
Mm.
Um, you got Devil May Cry 5, Destiny 2, Dirt 5, Fortnite. Which
Fortnite?
can you call Fortnite a launch title?
System seller, baby.
Really? Godfall, Just Dance, Overcook, Man Eater,
Mm.
Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, which doesn't come out until Tuesday.
That's not. That doesn't count.
NBA 2K21, No Man's Sky, Observer System
So
Redux,
PS4 games,
PS4,
basically,
PS4,
and
PS4,
Spider-Man.
PS4,
But
and
isn't
then
Spider-Man on
some
PS4 too, or not?
also on PS4.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Why do you
There's
people
no
buy these fucking consoles at launch?
the PS5. So I happened to be walking through Walmart yesterday. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go check out the game cabinet and take a look. They don't even put the consoles in the cabinet this time because of COVID. So if you want to buy one of
Oh,
these systems, you buy it online and you pick it up in the store.
oh,
'Cause they don't want people lining up, which makes sense. I understand that. But they put the games in the cabinet. Do you know what they had? NBA, Call of Duty, Spider-Man.
that's it. And people were
That's it.
only buying Spider-Man. I can tell you that right now.
And even then, I gotta tell you, why am I buying it on the PS5?
You can just get it on the PS4
Buy it on the PS4,
for
and there you go.
$610 less.
The Xbox Series X, no better. Not even a little bit better.
No.
0% better. You ready for this? Apex Legends, again, just like Fortnite.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, same. Borderlands 3, same. Bright Memory 1.0, no idea.
Never heard of
Cuisine
it.
Royale, Dead by Daylight, Devil May Cry 5, Destiny 2, Dirt 5, Enlisted, Evergate, Fortnite, Forza Horizon 4, Gears 5. These are Xbox One games.
Oh, okay. I
Gears
was like,
Tactics,
oh, that's a big
Grounded.
one, but I didn't know
No,
it was just...
those are Xbox One games. Manifold Garden, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, NBA 2K21, No Man's Sky, Observer, Ori and the Will of the Wisps,
That's a good
Planet
game,
Coaster.
but I'm not
Good game, but I
paying
mean, are you gonna buy it?
$600 for it.
Exactly. Rogue Company, again, that's Sea of Thieves, Tetris Effect. These are games from the Xbox One. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
This is, and then Yakuza is on this one too, which isn't.
Which is a
Fine.
great game, but it's on the
Did it not release on
PS4.
the PS5?
No, they got a timed exclusive kind of thing for that
Oh,
game.
for the Xbox.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're really trying to push the Japanese market
Yeah.
now. Again, like the 360 kind of did that. They're
Yeah.
trying to do that again.
Okay, I mean, I get it, but I mean, really, looking at this list, it is a cobbled together list of Xbox One games or PS4 games.
Hmm.
It's a cobbled together list of PC games, which are free to play games.
Well, some of them
Fortnite
are
and-
free on the PS4
They're
too. It's
free.
like,
They're
what are you
all-
doing?
Like, so to me, there isn't a single title on this list that is like, ooh, I got to get an Xbox Series X or I got to get a PS5 because it's got this game and it can't get it anywhere else. And this is, I think, where consoles are going, where eventually there's going to be a point where you don't even need to buy the console anymore. You're going to pay for a subscription like what Xbox is doing with Game Pass, and I'm sure PS5 has something that they're probably cooking up or working with.
Yeah, they
I'm
got
gonna
like
pay that-
PlayStation Now and
Yeah,
PlayStation
I'm going
Plus,
to pay
right?
that I'm going to pay that Games Pass. I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to buy the PS5 controller. I'm going to plug it into my computer. I'm going to play the games on my computer because my computer is going to outdo that console every single time. And I can play the games just like I could on the PS5. The only difference, I got to do it at my computer.
The other thing is what I'm gonna do. Same situation for these same games, right? Same games. I'm gonna grab my PS4 controller here. I'm gonna play them on my PS4. But let's get to. I'm gonna jump to chat here. We've covered all the things. We covered the consoles.
Let's do some questions.
So
and we'll close
so
the
we
podcast.
got yeah. If you guys have any comments, questions, go ahead. But I'm gonna catch up
If
here.
you think we're wrong, I want to hear why you think we're wrong. I want to hear why. Listen, if there's somebody out there who is saying no, the launch console is important because
It is,
and
though.
again,
It is
I get that
important.
it's important. You have to sell so many of the launch consoles to eventually make those bundles. But let's be honest, if you're buying the launch consoles and time after time after time, then you don't really care about those bundles. You don't care about saving money. You care about supporting the company. You care about being firmly planted in that camp. Unless you're buying all the systems, which apparently you're rich. Then
Yeah.
that's the
Here's
case.
the thing.
You're buying all the launch consoles.
Like, here's the thing. If everyone was smart, it would be very bad for these companies
It'd be so bad.
because you would have like the PS5 would have like minuscule sales. The Xbox One Triple X World Series X would have almost no sales. None of these consoles would really have any launch sales. It would look so bad on these companies.
Yeah.
But so Vector was saying rip Mega Man Legends 3. Yes, that's a fucking travesty. Or you can save money and get all the consoles so you didn't have to pick. Oh, there you go. Save money. Just buy them all. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not making money anymore.
That would be nice.
He said his Xbox never did get the red ring of death, thankfully.
Good for you.
Relaunch was so effective, the other consoles wanted motion controls. It's true. Because then the Kinect came out, correct. And then the PlayStation Move came out.
Yeah. The Wii started that, which was such. I'm so upset about that because there is nothing more frustrating than motion controls in a game.
Oh, it's really bad.
Let me decide whether or not I want to use them, right? Because there's some games like Uncharted did that to us too, where you had to tilt the controller.
I actually liked it for grenades. This is the only time in my entire life I didn't kill myself when throwing a grenade. Was Metal Gear Solid 4 and the Uncharted games. Every other game, I'm like, all right. Bounces off a Windows pane back to me. I'm dead every time.
I gotta say, outside of very small niche things, motion controls were a pain
don't
in
belong.
The
yeah, they're bad. Other than like VR. If you're doing VR, you need it, obviously.
Motion controls ruined Twilight Princess for me because I have the Wii version.
Gross.
It ruined the game. The game was fantastic, but I could not do one more session of this.
Come on, man.
Come on, do it.
He got married so he wouldn't have to do that anymore, guys.
That's right, exactly.
So he said, I originally got my PS4 for Destiny, real talk, but you didn't buy it at launch. PS5 lost Cyberpunk, which was a huge blow. I mean, same with wasn't Xbox gonna get that too, or was that an exclusive? There's no way that was an exclusive.
It may have been an exclusive release on launch for the PS5, maybe, but with them delaying the game till December. Doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. Bub says, you need to show me the next generation technology is the games too, not just the console. Or in the games too.
Yeah, that's true.
That's so true. Like, honestly, the only thing that appeals to me at all with these two new consoles is the haptics in the PS.
Yes, I was going to say the same thing.
That's it.
Out of everything with the new consoles, the only thing I really care about is the PS5 controller.
That's
the Xbox One or the Xbox whatever controller is exactly
the
Xbox One controller. It's literally the same thing. They didn't change anything.
Did you get the cock controller from that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm gonna what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pick up one of the PS5 controllers.
Oh yeah.
When I'm gonna buy the consoles, I'm just gonna get the PS5 controller. Then I'll get the PS5 console like a year or two down the line, maybe.
Yeah.
And then I have a controller now already for it. But all I want to do is plug that stupid thing into my computer.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Vector was saying Xbox is selling at a loss anyways. They seem to be hinging on Game Pass purchases instead. Ironic, you actually had a harder time throwing grenades with motion controls than using a button. Dude, my entire life. If I'm playing a game with you or anyone, do not fucking let me near grenades unless it's smoke
Right.
grenades.
Yeah, when we play Far Cry, keep you away from the grenades.
Oh,
then.
we're all dead. They were at least a little less annoying in Ratchet and Clank Future Tools. Dude, those Ratchet and Clank games were so good. But anyways, I think we've covered pretty much everything other than like
Absolutely.
handhelds, but we would be here all fucking day if we got into
Well,
those.
maybe what we'll do another one, which is the handhelds and bundles. I wouldn't
Yeah,
mind talking
bundles would
about
be
bundles.
good. We gotta find a list of all the bundles that they
Yeah.
that they
Release
released because that
And
that
bundles are interesting because there's a special collection element to it as well, right?
that's
All
true.
the
Like the
different
red
3DSs that
Switch,
released.
the red Switch.
Yep.
Sorry, not the Switch. The red Wii.
We
Yeah,
yes,
with the
yeah,
Super
yeah.
Mario Brothers Wii or whatever, and then yeah, there's so many good bundles like the Dragon Quest 11S
Yeah.
limited
Yeah,
edition Switch bundle.
We're gonna add that one to the list. I'm
$800
curious to
fucking
know.
dollars for.
I'm curious to know from you in the comments or in the chat. Let us know what you think about launch. What was your favorite launch console? Who do you think won in the series of launch consoles? I'm saying it's Wii, but that's kind of a bit of a cop out.
Yeah,
right?
it might be the Wii. It'd be the Wii or the PS2, I think.
I personally think if we're talking actual launch, because you can't count the Wii because it was a pack-in, right? But I mean the PS2 easily won across
the
the board,
best.
across the cosmos of releases of consoles.
Yeah.
I believe truly that the PS2 won the
best launch. Best launch, I would
Yeah,
say,
yes.
was PS2. Best launch titles, most successful probably sales at launch. I mean, I don't know the Wii though. The Wii didn't have the variety at all. But
No.
that game
only because of Wii Sports.
Mhm.
Let us know. I want to hear about it. But
Yeah.
if you watch this video, you got this far, put it in the comments. Let us know. Let us know about future episodes too.
Yeah.
We're always interested in what you think.
We have a Discord channel set up. I'll put the link to the Discord in the description below. So jump in there. We do have a channel specifically for requests of what you want us to talk about on the Relaxed Retro Talk show. But anyways, I am Dukey03. You can find me streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/Dukey03. Usually playing JRPGs. Right now I'm playing the new Yakuza game, Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon.
My name is Mike. I stream under the name DG Online on Twitch. You can find me twitch.tv/DG Online. Right now, we're playing through Remnant from the Ashes, but we do variety stuff, crafting, D&D, all kinds of different stuff. So make sure you come check out. Come check us out in the Discord is probably the best way to do that.
Yeah,
We're both. You'll find us
definitely.
both in the same server. And this has been great. I love talking about consoles. They're probably my favorite thing.
Yeah,
when
that
it
was
comes to gaming.
That was a good one. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks guys that came out, watched this on Twitch live, and thanks to you, all of you fine fucks on YouTube, watching this right now. Like I said, if you like it, give it a like, click that subscribe button, and leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Which consoles had good launches? Which ones had bad launches? Should you get a console at launch? Should you not? Tell us why down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, everyone.